Hello again, rivals. This is Xonia, and you are in the zone. Today, we're going to be taking an in-depth look at the Fang Pi Clang. This clan has some of my favorite CR cards, so I play it a lot, even if I'm not very good at actually playing with them, because I prefer using cards that I like more than the best cards for the job. Also, despite hearing everyone else say Fang Pi Clang, whenever I look at the word P-I, I automatically pronounce it as Pi. I guess that kind of gives away that I'm a math guy, as if all of these breakdowns didn't already do that. Just so I make as few people upset as possible, let's just stick with their common message board moniker, FPC, for the rest of this video. So today, we'll be covering their theme, the breakdown of stars and rarities, cost, damage clan comparisons, bonus, breakdown of power and damage, LD, CR, Miss Noel, and RB cards, ELO bands, a breakdown of their abilities, my favorite card, the best and worst, underestimated cards, a few deck examples, new this time, extra info, and clan comparisons. As for the theme, FPC is a clan where everyone is a master of martial arts, and they all live in the Golden Mountain Monastery. Naturally, this is generally a more Asian-flavored clan. Each one has some kind of spectacular kung fu or physical power-related ability, be it some kind of drunken fist martial arts, Dragon Ball Z powering up, some ninja abilities, or super ramen-making powers. As for the breakdown of the stars and rarities, FPC contains 11 2-star cards, 20 3-star, 12 4-star, and 12 5-star cards. It has 15 rare cards, 17 uncommon cards, and 16 common cards. Of its 55 cards, 46 still retain some usefulness in today's meta, meaning 9 are no longer useful. Of the 5, wait, Berserk doesn't count. Of the 4 primary damage manipulation clans, FPC, Jungo, La Junta, and Pussycats, it has the most 3-star and 5-star cards, and the most CR, rare, and uncommon cards. As for the cost, as you can see from the chart of the 4 damage clans, FPC currently has the second most expensive overall cost. So FPC is not one of the easiest clans to get a hold of nowadays, costing approximately 220,000 clints for all of the classic cards. If you follow my video for daily clints earning, you should be able to easily earn about 1,000 clints a day without too much effort. So that means it'll take about 220 days or about 7.5 months in order to collect everything in the clan with minimum efficient effort. If you're lucky with your daily commons or put in more time for your DTs, as always, you should be able to earn the entire clan a bit faster. And this also assumes that you want every single card of the classic cards. Up next, let's take a look at the following chart for the damage cross-clan comparisons. As you can see from these totals, FPC is number 1 in 3 areas. It has the best average 4-star power, best average 2-star damage, and best 4-star base totals. It's second best in 3 more areas: average power, average 3-star damage, and 3-star base totals. With its clear domination in 3-star and 4-stars base stats, this should point to FPC as one of the most stable choices for ELO. However, it is the worst in 6 different areas: average 2-star power, average 4 to 5-star damage, and 2-star, 5-star, and overall base totals. FPC's 5-star cards aren't horrible by any means. However, they just don't seem to have the same oomph as some of the other clans' 5-star cards. The points that hurt them are that the average 5-star damage isn't even a base of 6. So against SOB clans or against Pussycats, they won't even be able to 2-hit KO normally with each other. Thus, I would say this shows that FPC is not built quite as well for the T2 formats, or at least that it's a bit more ability reliant than the other clans. So, to compare the damage clans, I think there are 2 dynamics going on here. There's damage gapping and 2-hit KOing. Jungo and Pussycats are both trying to out-damage you, while not necessarily going for a 2-hit KO. They drag out matches and just try to do more damage than you, whereas FPC and La Junta are trying to 2-hit KO or even 1-hit KO you. As for FPC versus La Junta, FPC is much better in 3-star and 4-star cards. In FPC versus La Junta, FPC goes for better 3-star and 4-star cards. La Junta seems to go for better 2-star and 5-star cards. Notice how La Junta's 2-star and 5-star cards damage is above 8. Add the +2 damage that each card has, and this means that they'll 2-hit KO better together than Fang Pi Clang's 2 and 5 stars, which are below 8. However, Fang Pi Clang's 3 and 4 star cards are just above 8, while Lejunta's are just below 8, giving the edge to FPC. This also means that FPC 2 and 5 star cards will generally have more powerful abilities and worse base stats, while Lejunta's 3 and 4 star cards will have stronger abilities and worse base stats. I know the totals seem very close here, and they really are, but that small difference, I believe, is something that we should really be aware of, and that can help us decide objectively which clan is slightly better to use if we feel that they're basically the same. Which, a lot of times, we pretty much do feel. I think we can catch a glimpse of this more clearly in the 5 one-hit KO cards for each clan. Compare Kagura, Kinjo, Lao CR, and Lost Hog CR versus General CR and Raven. Anyway, as for Jungo, they have the most solid base overall stats and the best average power, but they get it in exchange for losing that easier 2-hit KO opportunity. They'll also tend to have slightly less destructive abilities, and they'll tend to have better 3 and 5 star cards. Pussycats rules the roost for average base damage, which makes sense when you think about how their bonus may actually be useless against some clans or against certain cards. They also have strong card stats at all star levels, except for 3 stars, but particularly in the 4-star and 5-star slots. So, to sum it up again, FPC and Lejunta get 1-hit KO and better 2-hit KO opportunities. FPC has solid 3 and 4-star cards and less stable but better abilities on their 2 and 5-star cards. Lejunta will get solid 2 and 5-star cards and less stable but better abilities on their 3-star and 4-star cards. Jungo and Pussycats lose the ability for those easy 2-hit KOs, but Jungo has the best base power and overall stats, while PC has the best base damage. Another note, which sadly can't be seen from this dataset, is that FPC and Pussycats are both also built to fit into half decks, while Jungo will lose some of its great support cards, and Lejunta will get absolutely wrecked with the loss of some of its most amazing support cards. Just another minor note of importance as far as comparisons go. If you absolutely pushed me to say which of these 4 clans is the weakest, I would first ask you, well, which format are we in? But even taking the different formats into account, I think overall, honestly, I'd have to say I believe FPC to be the weakest of the 4. There are 5 reasons that I feel this way. 1. My main reason is that they lack any decent real DR. 2. My second reason is that some of their great cards are very difficult to obtain CRs, like Karazin CR, Marlisia CR, and even Elia CR. 3. They only have 1 SOA card, and it's one that I will never use due to clan competition. 4. They have a ton of SOB, but to be honest, most people will probably ever only want to use 1 in their deck. And 5. They lack a decent 1-hit KO card. Nowadays, cards like Kinjo just aren't going to cut it. When it comes to their bonus, with this straight up +2 damage, this bonus does everything that Berserk's doesn't. This is pure, unadulterated, kick-you-in-the-face damage. As such, you'd better expect that this clan is generally built to win in 1 to 2 hits, and not 3. Please note that while they are stable for ELO, since their bonus is designed around ending matches early, this can present an issue for ELO matches with the higher 14 life, if your card choices aren't built around that fact. Next, let's take a look at the breakdown of the power and damage. Now, since many clans have an average of 4 to 5 damage, and because they're a damage clan, FPC should tend to have lower base damage than most other clans. However, their base power should be high, because they're not an attack manipulation clan. So let's take a look at their breakdown for power here. As you can see, the power dynamic isn't great for this clan, honestly, except for the 4 stars. As a result, FPC should get some nice mid to high level abilities. Cards with 7 to 8 power should be stable and or versatile, while cards with 6 or less will be pack and heat with better abilities, and for this clan, generally that will mean power manipulation. The power on 2-star cards is the worst for FPC, but that's partially due to Unagi's low base power. So the best cards will be 8 power with a good solid ability, like Shifu, Futoshi LD, Fei, Nekurembo, or Zutang. Or 6 to 7 power with a very strong ability, like Marlisia CR, Chan, Kamekun, or Yoshida. One factor in the good, better, best cards will be how solid the card's damage is to ensure that its damage actually gets through. So let's take a look at the average damage of the FPC. Well, first, please note that the reason FPC comes in so low on 5-star damage is pretty much entirely due to Kagura. Without Kagura, they'd average a bit over 6. They'd still be at the bottom of the pack, but they'd be a little bit higher. It's definitely the 4-star cards that shine brightest in FPC, and their ability to 2-hit KO with each other, as well as many of the 3-star cards, is the real kicker. If you're willing to be a bit risky and limit your versatility, which is definitely possible since most cards actually aren't conditional in this clan, you can even try throwing in some super high 3-star damage cards. Just beware SOA and SOB. Some of the other things I tend to think when I look through the FPC cards is that I like a lot of their cards. However, I don't think that they have a round-breaking card. A card that just absolutely dominates and makes them amazingly powerful. They have a lot of strong cards. I mean, a lot. But I dare say that FPC has no super overpowered cards. This is good as far as bans go. However, it does mean that I very rarely draw my hand of 4 cards and say, man, I've definitely got this game. I always feel that there's a chance for my opponent to defeat me, unless they just have an absolutely abysmal hand. This usually translates into, I always feel like I have a chance to win, but I never feel like I'll definitely win, which will either make you like them more or less, depending on what you value and how you play. Next, let's take a look at their LD, CR, Miss, Noel, and RB cards. FPC's LD is Futoshi LD. This 4-star is potentially my favorite one for the entire clan. With the ever-powerful Copy Op bonus ability, he morphs to fit what you need and packs a nice 6 damage along with his 8 power. This LD is definitely one you want to get and use in your decks, so do your best to finish up his LD missions as soon as you can. You definitely will not regret having this powerful card as a part of your arsenal. As far as CRs go, FPC currently has 6. Elia CR, Karazin CR, Lao CR, Lost Hog CR, Marlesia CR, and Seldnor CR. FPC's first CR was Lao CR, all the way back on July 31st, 2006. Marlesia was the second CR on May 31st, 2007. Elia went CR next on August 31st, 2007, with Karazin and Seldnor both going CR together on November 12th, 2007. It would then be almost 7 years before the latest CR would be named, Lost Hog, on September 3rd, 2014. In general, you'll never see Seldnor CR or Lao CR in a deck, since they're both pretty much awful. You'll only see Lost Hog CR if they're trying to complete his KO missions, also because he's pretty much awful. The remaining 3, Elia, Marlesia, and Karazin, are all extremely powerful cards that are highly sought after. You are effectively nuked this clan after removing these greats so long ago, and getting rid of all of them can create one seriously powerful draw. Many are split on Elia CR, saying she's too conditional and absolutely wrecked by SOA. Personally, I do own one of her, and I love using her in ELO even. Marlesia CR is still a beast of a card, and when teamed up with, say, Shifu or Futoshi LD in a half deck, it means you basically never need to worry about what the opponent's bonus is. Karazin CR is one of the 2 playable CRs that I still do not own, for now. She's perhaps the best 5-star in this clan, still after all these years. Yoshida has the potential for a higher power gap, but Karazin CR is just a bit more stable versus SOA, which is, of course, a highly sought-after trade of 5-star cards. If you happen to have money leaking out of your ears, then all of these are wonderful, highly playable CRs that just may change your entire opinion of the FPC clan should you not enjoy playing them now. I know that they certainly have for me. As for miss cards, FPC currently has none, as well as no Noel cards. FPC does have 2 RBs as of right now, Natrang RB and Windy Moore RB. They were both simultaneously released on July 30th, 2015 as the 11th and 12th RBs. Both are basically useless cards though, so don't spend too much effort trying to obtain them. As for ELO bans, FPC currently has 1 permanently banned ELO card, Zhu Tang. As a side note, Karazin CR has been on and off the player ban list for pretty much forever too. Once again, this lends itself really well to allowing you access to a lot of strong and versatile cards, even if most of them won't automatically guarantee a win for you. Next, let's look at a breakdown of the FPC's abilities and conditionals. FPC focuses primarily on power, damage, and stop-op bonus. It's one of the only clans that you can almost build an entire stop-op bonus deck with. Anyway, as far as power manip goes, we have 11 cards. Chan, Elia CR, Minimosu, Nakata, Rei, Sung Tzu, Fei, Ichiko, Karazin CR, Ralph, and Yoshida. After taking out conditionals though, we're left with only 6. Chan, Rei, Fei, Karazin CR, Ralph, and Yoshida. Just saying those names should tip you off to the fact that the power manipulation positions in Fang Pi Clang are pretty much already filled, and filled well. FPC packs some of the best power reducers in the game, honestly. The magic number is -2 min-4 on Yoshida, Ralph, and Ichiko. At 7 power, this gives them a wider power manipulation gap and result than most cards in the entire game, outside of All-Stars. At 3, between their power and the minimum, absolutely wrecking any and all 6 power cards, and helping them outreduce many other power reducers. As for damage, we have 9 cards, but when you look at them, there's a lot of work to be done here. The plus damage cards are ridiculously conditional and destroyed by SOA. The DR, well, they don't really have any. No one in their right mind is fielding Ja Lemming or Sai-san, and Hattori is far too many stars. Tomoe is a wonderful card, but let's be honest here, she's conditional. And even if it is a good condition, she's still not enough to hold down all of the DR for this clan by herself. Since these abilities are common, keep your eyes peeled for a good low-star DR card in the future releases, or for a decent plus damage card that isn't absolutely destroyed by SOA. These have a high chance to become instant staples. As for attack manipulation, Kame-kun is pretty much holding it all down by himself, and doing a great job of it too. Still, look for a second decent attack manipulation card to potentially become a staple in the future. As for stop-bot bonus, this clan has an amazing lineup, but there are a lot of problems still going on for them. Kue is great, but he's a 5-star and will never beat out the likes of Yoshida, Okurazen CR, and T1 ELO decks. Windy Moore is also solid, but her power is far too low for effective use. The same goes for Ryuichi and Lao CR, who is also far too expensive. And speaking of expensive, hello there Marlesia CR. The card that many new players set as their goal. Marlesia CR is still a very strong card, but 1.5 million price tag means that most players will only be able to dream of owning her for a long, long time. This leaves poor, lonely Shifu, who, by the way, is solid for the second best 3-star, and only beaten by their only permaband card. As for other cards to look out for in the future, look for a new SOA card with more utility than Kati. She's the only SOA card in the clan, and loses out to all the other amazing 4-star cards. Ideally, a 2 to 3-star, 8-power card with SOA would probably fit nicely into your FPC deck. As for conditionals, 18 of the 55 cards are conditional, or about 1/3. This clan has escaped a lot of the conditional issues, which is great, and allows you to put 1 or 2 of the worst conditionals into your deck without too much worry. In particular, the 2 relatively decent defeat cards are also excellent examples. Kusuri acts as the only faux DR, and Tsubame brings a world of pain to the party, even as an unsupported 7. I'd love to see a support card in FPC, but chances are low, since one of FPC's niches is that it plays well in half decks. Look for a potential new, strong Courage card, since the only halfway decent ELO Courage card right now is Linda, and let me stress halfway decent here. She's even outshined by many of the other 4-stars in FPC. As for my favorite card in FPC to play with is definitely Zutang. His ability to create a 12 life gap with Fury as a 3-star card is remarkable. The reason that he stands out to me is that many other cards with such life gapping abilities are all generally unsupported 7-power cards, or supported 6-power cards. For example, Niema, Dita, Kenny CR, Q, Ellie, La Solarosa, Costner, D4 Funk, Opholun, etc., with very few reaching the magical 8 base power. This puts Zutang in company with only 5 other cards: Kalindra CR, Vanish, Eilina, Brody, and Manfred. Coupled with the fact that Zutang's isn't conditional, and can still dish out 4 to 6 damage against SOA, or gap for 4 to 8 against SOB, while keeping his 8 power and ability to win the round, this makes him an absolute monster, and explains why he's been permabanned from ELO. You never see this in a 3-star card. 4-star is borderline. Generally, this is 5-star material. People used to just sit back and wait for round 4, and then all in and fury with Zutang for an easy win. Zutang is perhaps the only truly viable round-breaking card in this entire clan. Let's take a look at the best and worst cards in the clan, according to star count and then rarity. Again, these choices are just subjective. They're only my opinion. So if you disagree, feel free to leave a comment below telling me who you think the best and worst are. Next, let's take a look at some underestimated cards. If I had to reveal my personal diamonds in the rough, I'd have to say Ramar, Sayura, and Yu Mei. Ramar has received a lot of flack already, and he's only been out for about a month now. He's the newest card to join FPC. Killshot may not be an amazing ability, and many people hate it, but with 8 power, Ramar won't struggle to put some attack on the board, that's for sure. FPC has to be very careful with its pills, as it only has one card related to pill manipulation, so overpilling can be their demise, especially with very little attack manipulation. Ramar, however, is able to fill a few roles for the clan all in one. First, FPC doesn't really have an opening card, except for, I guess, Kame-kun. Ramar can fill that as well, and in so doing, force the opponent to pill at least a few to try and stop Killshot from going off. This means you can better guarantee that you probably won't be 3 to 5 pills in the hole against your opponent after round 1. Second, if you do get Killshot off, then it can act the same as DR, preventing a 2-hit KO from the opponent in the following round. With very little viable life gain in FPC, Ramar is definitely welcome there. He can also gap for a potential 12 in the late game with Fury. He also offers a partial non-DRable life gap, although honestly, it only really matters against cards with high DR minimums. Still, this matters because DR would generally low pill or old, giving him the extra +4 life from that kill shot. FPC is quite vulnerable to DR, so Ramar adds a bit of flexibility to the clan. Think of him as a better, more viable Zinfred, instead of a Heitachi with 1 less damage. Sayura doesn't offer a lot of attack manipulation, and she's only 6 power, but if you don't have the clints to shell out to buy some of the better 3-star cards and you're just getting started, there is nothing wrong with her. I can't tell you how many matches against new players I've had with this card where they pilled big and just catch me off guard for a huge 7 damage on a 3-star card. Sayura adds that potential 2-hit KO fear factor to your draws for almost no clints. If you like FPC, definitely slot this card in and feel free to leave her there if you find yourself having issues with not doing enough damage. At the very least, she can force a pill or 2. Yu Mei will never be your first choice, but with the ability to copy op damage at 3 stars, she has the potential to 1-hit KO against the right ones. Yu Mei is the kind of card that gets scarier the better your opponent's draw is, and against SOA still packs a nice punch, making you less vulnerable to SOA clans. A potential game changer, she works because she's a 3-star card. It's okay to have some randomness in one of your 2 to 3-star cards. Just remember, having in your hand will mean that your opponent won't lead with his big guns, so be prepared to catch your opponent when they try to sneak them in when you lead on your courage rounds. So, if you're starting out with FPC, Yu Mei is one card you should definitely give a shot. Up next, several of you have been asking for potential deck building tips or examples, and your comments have been heard. I'll try to offer just a few ideas for both mono and half deck options at your disposal. I'm only going to mention the ideas briefly, as these clan breakdowns are quite long already. First up are half decks. One important note is that FPC has perhaps the largest number of quality 2-star cards in the game, so long as they get both their ability and bonus. With a lineup of Chan, Dao Wang, Kusuri, Ichiko, and Marlisia CR, this can allow you to create an abnormally low-star half deck if you're willing to accept a bit of risk. My personal favorite non-ELO low-star half deck is Chan, Kusuri, Marlisia CR, and Zhu Tang, at only 9 stars. Note, you'll need to take 3 rounds and play your cards perfectly to win 2 or low-star draws. For those without Marlisia CR, so most players, Dao Wang or Ichiko are both decent replacements, though obviously not quite as strong. Remember, this won't work in ELO though. If that's too low for your taste and you're worried about damage, then you can add 1 more star and make it Kusuri, Marlisia CR, Shifu, and Zhu Tang. At only 10 stars, this allows your other half to have 15 stars, allowing for a 4-4-4-3 or a 5-4-3-3 half deck, and your low star draw will still be comparatively strong, holding its own due to the +2 damage bonus. For a bonus control half deck, try Marlisia CR, Shifu, Kame-kun, and Futoshi LD. At 12 stars, this should keep you on at least equal footing with your opponent in any situation. For a power manipulation half deck, try something like Chan, Ichiko, Ralph, and Yoshida. 12 stars, but beware SOA. For a stronger version of this, swap Ichiko for Fei. Again, this is 14 stars. For a higher star all-offensive half deck, try Kame-kun, Shifu, Heitachi, and Futoshi LD. At 14 stars, this will hold up well against SOA as well. For an offensive-defense half deck, Kusuri, Kame-kun, Shifu, and Tomoe. 12 stars. If you're tired of DR, Try out Chan, Daowang, Bengal, and Ramar. 11 stars. Getting sick of all those Geist decks? Try Moontendan, Nakata, Shifu, and Sung Tzu. 13 stars. And should they throw a plus life mission at you? Go with Kusuri, Zutang, Ramar, and Nekurembo. 14 stars. For ELO, it's generally going to look something like this. Choose 2 of Chang, Daowang, Ichigo, Kusuri, and Marlisia CR. Choose 3 of Bengal, Elia CR, Kamekun, Ralph, and Shifu. And choose 3 of Futoshi LD, Fei, Heitachi, and Tomoe. If you prefer to have a 5-star card in your deck, it can be a bit riskier, but with the high 2-star damage, you definitely can pull it off. Beware your low-star draw, though. It might look something like this. Almost definitely you're going to see Daowang and Kusuri in the deck. And then 1 of Chan, Ichigo, or Marlisia CR. Choose 2 from Bengal, Kamekun, Ralph, and Shifu, and choose 2 from Futoshi LD, Fei, Heitachi, and Tomoe. Then choose 1 between Kerosene CR, Nekurembo, and Yoshida for your 5-star. If you're more interested in T2, which is not as popular with this clan, your best bet is to go with something like Hattori, Kerosene CR, Kue, Nekurembo, Tameshi, Tsubame, Yoshida, and then 1 force card from Fei, Futoshi LD, and Tomoe. Hopefully that gives you guys at least a few ideas of what to do when building an FPC deck. Good luck with deck building. Up next, for extra info, FPC, due to their lack of attack manipulation, pairs well with a leader like Hugo. This way they can get a little help in that attack manipulation department. I generally stay away from Amber since a lot of their cards have 8 power or more, but you could definitely create an Amber plus a 7 base power reduction killer deck. Also, here are some popular tactics with FPC. 1-hit KO with Kinjo or Lost Hog CR, usually for their missions. Or, watch out for the 1-hit KO with Shizawa versus SOA clans. Also, surprise 1-hit KOs with Timber plus Yuichi, Zinfrid, or Tsubame. And finally, olding with Kusuri, Tomoe, and then again if necessary, and then clean up with Zutang, Furied. There are other cards, but these are the ones I've seen most commonly used. Of course, attack manipulation clans will make things difficult for FPC, unable to force pills and having to climb over the walls of their opponents. The higher the attack manipulation, the harder it will be for them. Finally, as before, FPC is built to also be a usable and strong half deck. They're good for doing a decent bit of damage and being all around, so feel free to pair a higher star half deck with a clan that may struggle with doing enough damage, or has high attack manipulation, like Hurricane, Uluwatu, or Uppers, or pair a low star half deck as finishers, with clans like Berserk or Freaks. Which clans will FPC have the easiest time dispatching? Well, it really depends on the cards you draw, and whether you're using a half deck or a mono deck, and what is in that deck, but in general, I would say you'll be strong against Berserk, Hurricane, La Junta, Piranhas, Raptors, Roots, and Vortex. These clans will have difficulty against FPC because FPC has generally better power manipulation, higher power, and good damage, even on low star cards, as well as bonus control ability. FPC can shut down these clans by removing their bonuses and bringing the opposing clan's power below their own. However, be careful around the following clans: Montana, Pussycats, Sacrom, Sentinel, Skeels, Uluwatu, and Uppers. These clans will require you to use pills to get over their attack manipulation, and or have sufficient DR to out-damage you. The key to success, as always, will be to make sure that you commit to and win the right rounds with the right cards. Well, this concludes my FPC clan review. I hope you feel like you learned something and feel better prepared to both play with and against the FPC clan. If you like this video, then feel free to like it, favorite it, and share it. I make these videos so others, including you, can learn about and enjoy Urban Rivals. Nothing makes me happier than when you guys enjoy these videos. So don't forget to leave a comment below if there's anything you think that I forgot to mention, and while you're there, let me know which FPC card is your favorite. And of course, don't forget to subscribe for more of my Urban Rivals videos. This is Xonia, and you've been in the zone.